Do you remember what you were doing in 2082? Maybe you weren't even born yet, but that year changed the world forever. That's when they revealed themselves. Them, the Reptilians. No, I'm not talking about conspiracy theories or urban legends. I'm talking about a reality that turned the planet upside down and redefined human existence itself. Get ready, because the story you're about to hear isn't just about aliens. It's about home, identity, and the desperate fight to protect everything we know. Imagine 1,500 years. That's how long a colossal reptilian vessel remained silent, rusting and integrating into the soil of our planet. Its occupants, survivors of an unimaginable crash in an era when humanity barely scratched the surface of what is now science, hid themselves. They lived among us, camouflaged, weaving their lives into our cities, our cultures, our families. Their descendants, purebloods and hybrids, grew up with the scent of Earth in their nostrils, the taste of our food in their mouths, and a love for our landscapes in their hearts. They were, in essence, Earthlings, though they guarded millennium secrets. The truth is, for centuries, the legend of lizardmen was just that, a legend. No one could have imagined that, beneath a veil of discretion, an alien civilization flourished in our own backyard. And then, in 2082, the unthinkable happened. It wasn't an invasion. It wasn't a war. It was a revelation. In a globally televised event, with pirate broadcasts interrupting communication networks and unified messages sent to all devices, the Reptilians' descendants deactivated their camouflages, displaying their scales, their vivid eyes, their forms that once only inhabited science fiction nightmares amidst shocked crowds. Initial panic was contained by the demonstration of advanced technologies and, more importantly, by a message of peace and coexistence. The shock was monumental, but, to the surprise of many, integration began. Slow, painful, full of distrust on both sides, but it began. There were protests, of course, but also curiosity, and eventually, acceptance. In the 100 years following that revelation, Earth underwent a radical transformation. Borders were redefined, cultures intertwined in ways we never would have imagined. The concept of nation expanded to include the unified terrestrial reptilian community. Cities like Nova Cygnus, erected in the heart of what was once the Sahara Desert, became symbols of coexistence, housing millions of humans and reptilians, purebloods and hybrids, in almost perfect harmony. The Reptilians brought surprising technological advancements, from new clean energy sources to regenerative medicine, but they also learned from us, embracing our art, our music, our cuisine. Treaties were signed, laws were created, and the new society evolved. Hybrids, like our Iris, a young woman with vibrant green skin and hair, pointed ears, and bright eyes, the daughter of a reptilian and a human, became the living bridge between the two races. She grew up hearing stories from both worlds, balancing ancient reptilian wisdom with human passion and resilience. Iris, with her sharp intellect and inherent agility, found her place in the Department of Interspecies Relations, working tirelessly to strengthen the bonds between the two civilizations. She mediated conflicts, explained customs, and defended the rights of both communities, becoming a respected and beloved figure to many. Her existence proved that coexistence was not only possible but could blossom into something beautiful and powerful. But integration wasn't always a bed of roses. There was friction, fear, and prejudice. Extremist groups emerged, both human and reptilian, fearing the loss of their identities. However, an unshakable truth was established: the Reptilians living on Earth, the outcasts, as they called themselves in their ancient tongue, had adopted the planet as their home. They had found peace, purpose, and a new identity, far removed from their stellar origins. Among the oldest and most respected of the pureblood Reptilians was Viridian, a direct descendant of the original lineage that crashed on Earth. Viridian was a born warrior, with dark scales and eyes that seemed to see through one's soul. He had fought in forgotten battles against beasts from other worlds in his youth, but now his greatest battle was for peaceful coexistence and the defense of his new home. Viridian became a legendary figure among his people, a wise counselor and an tireless guardian of his race's principles. He carried the weight of 1,500 years of history on his shoulders, and his people's legacy was his responsibility. He knew that the future of Earth and of the outcasts depended on the unity of all. His voice was calm, but his words carried the weight of ages. He advocated for integration, not out of submission, but conviction. On the human side, planetary defense had always been a priority, even before the reptilian revelation. Now, with the addition of alien technologies and potential new threats, the Planetary Defense Force became the most powerful in Earth's history. Elite military personnel were trained for any contingency, and this threat was now more complex than ever. At the heart of this defense were Commander Anya Sharma and Captain Cale Rourke. Anya, a woman of steel with a determined gaze and a strategic mind like few others, led the Planetary Defense Division. She was the embodiment of human resilience, willing to make any sacrifice to protect her world. Her combat experience was vast, her decisions quick and precise, forged in high-stakes missions against space pirates and terrestrial threats. By her side, Captain Cale Rourke, a rugged man, reminiscent of past explorers' legends, with a captivating charisma and combat skills that bordered on the legendary. Cale and Anya formed an unbeatable duo, forged in years of service, with a common goal: to ensure Earth remained safe, no matter the cost. They were the Guardians, the first to respond, the last to retreat. Their loyalty to the planet was unwavering, and their leadership capabilities inspired their subordinates. And then, the unthinkable, again. The old ship, the very one that crashed 1500 years ago, inert and forgotten, began to pulse. An ancient energy, dormant for centuries, awoke. At first, they thought it was a malfunction, a residual energy released by structural deterioration, but it wasn't. Distorted signals began to be picked up, coming from the depths of space. Initially, they seemed like static, glitches in the intergalactic communication systems of the Intergalactic Monitoring Center, IMC, a partnership between humans and reptilians. As they worked to decipher the signals, a dark and chilling message began to form, repeating in monotonous, threatening cycles. "We are coming. Prepare for invasion. Dominance will be ours." Panic spread like wildfire, not just among humans, but also among the outcasts. This was not a friendly warning. It was a declaration of war, and the enemy fleet was on its way, coming from the depths of space. With one destination, Earth, the terrestrial reptilians felt a chill down their spines, a genetic memory of a distant past of intergalactic conflicts on the other side of the galaxy. In the confines of the Xylos system, the fleet was preparing. A different reptilian race, more aggressive, more brutal. The conquerors of Xylos, they were masters of planetary invasions, with a history of subjugated worlds and annihilated civilizations, driven by a relentless desire for expansion and resources. Their leader, the implacable commander Valerius, a reptilian with obsidian-colored scales, scarred from 1,000 battles, Valerius was the embodiment of cruelty and military efficiency. For him, conquest was the only language, and Earth merely a dot on the galactic map to be added to his empire. His mothership, the Leviathan, was a flying fortress, colossal, dark, and inspiring terror with its mere presence, capable of transporting 2,000 elite reptilian soldiers, genetically modified for war. Surrounding it were 50 attack cruisers, armed to the teeth with plasma cannons and energy shields, 100 medium support and reconnaissance vessels, and 900 direct combat ships, small and agile, ready to sweep away any resistance. A fleet that would make any civilization tremble. Alongside Valerius was his assistant, the calculating Corvus. Unlike his leader, Corvus possessed a more strategic and less bloodthirsty mind. He questioned the brutality of the Earth invasion, a planet that, according to his intelligence reports, harbored thousands of their own kind, the outcasts. For Corvus, conquest was a necessity for the Xylos Empire, but total annihilation was not. He saw the potential for coexistence, for assimilation, something Valerius disdained in his pursuit of domination. Corvus obeyed orders, but his eyes often betrayed a silent reluctance. He knew something was fundamentally wrong with Valerius' approach, and the loyalty he felt for his leader began to be eroded by logic and a sense of honor. And in his heart, a seed of doubt began to germinate, a seed that, in the future, might blossom into an unexpected alliance with Earth's forces. Back on Earth, news of the invasion united what was once fragile. Viridian, with his ancient wisdom, a knowledge of the original reptilian culture, and Iris, with her understanding of both worlds, joined Anya and Cale. The war table, once occupied only by humans, now had the presence of two reptilians, planning side by side. "We are from here," Viridian declared, his scales gleaming under the command room lights. "This is our home now. Our ancestors hid to survive. We revealed ourselves to live. We will not hide again. We will fight for this Earth." Anya nodded, her gaze meeting Kale's, who clenched his fist. "We are not alone. We never were, and we will not allow this planet to fall." The Alliance was forged, pureblood, reptilians, hybrids, and humans, all with a common goal: to stop the invasion. The outcasts, once exiles, were now the defenders. Their heritage, once a secret, was now the key to everyone's survival. The countdown had begun. The long-range radars of the IMC began to beep frantically. Small points of light, initially almost imperceptibly, grew rapidly on the screens. Hundreds, then thousands. The Xylos fleet, the Leviathan at its vanguard, breached the orbital barrier. A dark, imposing silhouette hovered over Earth's atmosphere, blocking sunlight in some regions. Below it, a constellation of smaller, yet equally menacing ships positioned themselves like a horde of predators awaiting the moment to strike. Earth's sky, peaceful for centuries, was now a stage for terror and the promise of unprecedented war. The Leviathan's energy cannons began to charge, a sinister glow announcing imminent destruction. What happens now? Earth is under direct threat, and our heroes barely had time to prepare. Will the union between the races be enough to stop such an overwhelming force? Or will Earth succumb to a threat that, paradoxically, has roots in the very past of one of its peoples? If you're as eager as I am to discover the outcome of this story, leave your like down below. It helps me immensely. And of course, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next chapters and new stories to come. To continue this journey and see what happens when the first attack begins, click on the video that is appearing right now on your screen to continue. This journey, the battle for Earth, is about to begin. See you on the next adventure, everyone.